All right. Welcome, friends. Welcome to another Wednesday night live essential chat with me, Sherry, your hostess with the mostest. I'm super excited because this has been a 4-week series of me just having a casual conversation with people who I've come to know and love through my doTERRA business. And we've chatted about all sorts of things pertaining to their doTERRA business. And tonight, we're wrapping up that series with one of my favorite people, my mentor, super successful with her doTERRA business, and I'm just super excited that she's here to talk to us. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on, Miss Ellie Hedley, and there we are. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Sherry. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come and chat with me and my friends tonight. Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about like yourself and how you came to know doTERRA?
I would love to, but before I do that, I want to give you a little shout out because I love that you're doing this. I love this series, and you mentioned that that I might be one of your favorite people, but you're one of my favorite people too. In fact, I was just having a conversation with another friend about how I'm like, Sherry is on it. She says she's going to do something. She does it. She has impeccable follow through. And I love that you have come to love the oils and the products in your own time and been sharing with all of your friends and family. So I love that.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so a little bit about me. So my name is Ellie. I've been in doTERRA for about 9 years. And the way that I found doTERRA, I think was the question. I was looking for solutions for my daughter. My daughter, who's now 18, has severe chronic asthma. She's got some other health concerns. And I was frustrated. I was frustrated with the medical system. I was frustrated that I wasn't getting answers. We had many, many sleepless nights trying to help her through with her breathing and hospitalizations a couple times a year. And as a parent, as a mom, going through that and watching your child suffer over and over and over again, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So I was willing to do anything. I was willing to do whatever it took to make her better. And I would happen to be sharing my sorrows of not getting any sleep with a lady that I didn't know at the time at a school event. And at that time, my daughter was in 3rd grade. And we were at a school function, and I was, complaining about how tired I was and that, she'd been sick and we weren't sleeping and the whole 9 yards. And she said, this wonderful lady who I absolutely love and is, not only a very good friend of mine, but also I would consider her family. Now, it said to me, well, have you tried essential oils? And I thought, well, yeah, I try essential oils. I get them from the health food store. And she said, okay, well, they're not the same. And I was like curious at that point. And she said, if you don't mind, I'll drop you off 2 little samples. And so she brought me over to my door, these tiny little samples with about 10 drops of essential oils in each. And she dropped off Breathe and frankincense. And we put them on her. She said, put them on her chest and over her lungs and her back and have her breathe them in and put them on the bottom of her feet. I don't know if it's going to help, but let me know if it does. Hopefully it does. It can't hurt, right? So we did that, and we went one night, and she didn't wake up coughing, didn't have an asthma attack. So I thought, okay, maybe it was coincidence. Let's do it again. So we did it one more night. Same thing happened. Well, I ran out of oils at that point, right? Because I use them generously. And the 3rd night, when I didn't have anything to put on her, she still didn't have an asthma attack. So I thought, okay, maybe it was coincidence. And to make a long story short, about 3 months later, this same amazing lady knocked on my door and said, did you try those samples and what did you think of them? And I said, well, I think they worked, but I'm not sure. And she goes, "Do you want to learn more?" And I said, I would actually love to learn more, but my schedule's super busy. I was working full time for a large tech company, and it was, 60 hours a week, and I didn't have a lot of time. And I said, "This is the only window I have. If you want to come at that time and show me what you got, that would be great." And as soon as she opened her case of oils, it was a light bulb moment for me, because I knew at that moment that this was something that I would want to share with everyone. I'm a little different than everybody else because, and I'm going to stop so you can ask your question, Sherry, because I could talk forever. But rewind, go back about 2 years before that, a year and a half before that. I was so frustrated with the medical system that I enrolled in school through an online college to learn to be a holistic health practitioner. And at that time, I had no intention of doing that as a business or anything like that. I wanted to strictly learn so that I could help my daughter. And that was it. And so I was already very open to natural healing, to herbs and essential oils and all these things, all these modalities. So when she opened her case of oils, I was like, light bulb moment. So.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love stories like that because I think so many people have a completely different story, but the same exact story at the same time, right? Where they're like, well, I used it. I think it worked, but it could have been a coincidence, right? I know I kind of felt that way. I know lots of people. So I'm so glad that it wasn't a coincidence and it works and these oils are amazing, right? Yeah. So you answered actually a lot of the questions within your story. I love that because it's so natural. So go ahead.
I want to just add one more thing. So about the coincidence. So 3 months later, the reason why we got reconnected was because my same daughter, who had a ton of health issues, but never a stomach issue, was at cheer. She did competitive cheer. And she called me crying, saying, "My stomach hurts so bad." And for her to be like screaming, crying like that, I thought, appendix? Like, this can't be like a stomach ache, right? It has to be appendix or something. And she came home. So my husband went to grab her from cheer and brought her home. Meanwhile, I call Wendy and I'm like, "What do you got for this?" And she brought me over peppermint and digestin, same little samples. And this time we watched it with our own eyes. This kid was screaming, crying. And we laid her on the couch and I pulled up her shirt and just poured the oils all over her belly and rubbed them in. And I think I even made her, I put a drop in her mouth too, which she wasn't happy about because it was, strong peppermint. And we watched her going from screaming, crying to, "I'm fine," and got up and ran around and was like, "What's for dinner?"
Wow.
And we kind of looked at each other like, what in the world just transpired here?
Yeah.
That was insane. And that was the moment I was like, that's it. I need these in my life and I need to tell everybody about them.
Yeah. So would you say that one of those became like an instant favorite for you?
Well, frankincense was one of the original samples. Frankincense was an instant favorite for me because I already knew a little bit about frankincense from my schoolwork. It was very minimal what they taught us, about frankincense. It was not a lot. I knew it was powerful at that point. And then when I started doing the research with doTERRA, I was like, whoa, this is a powerhouse. And if anybody knows me, knows that I'm obsessed with understanding how to treat the body naturally, even through big things like things that rhyme with schmancer. And I wanted to know everything that it was going to take to reverse schmancer without going through the traditional medical process. Not because I had personal experience at that time, but that was just something that I was like, this can never happen. Like, I need to be dialed in. And So I knew how powerful frankincense was. So that was immediately and probably still is my number one favorite oil.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's a powerhouse. Um, would you say that obviously you came in with a huge testimony and not even over time, like you literally watched it happen. So that's amazing. Would you say that you instantly wanted to start sharing those oils with other people then?
Yeah, like I said, I was ready to hear about the oils, but also I started to, because I worked full time, I worked a lot for this large corporation where I started to feel like I was just a number in the corporation. And although I was successful and I had a great job, it was a good paycheck, and there was some opportunity for advancement, and I was able to travel for that. It actually started to wear down on me how much I was working and the stress. And then the travel started to be my nemesis and was like, I did not want to travel. I wanted to be home with my kids. And yeah, so going through that, I was like ready to find something else. But I didn't want to go through the process of looking for another job, or let's say I knew I wanted to be a business owner. That's always been a dream of mine from day one, was to be a business owner. What was my option? My option was that I knew of was to start a brick and mortar, and I thought I was going to do like a health food store or like a kind of an all-in-one health place. And when doTERRA came in, I was like, this is my answer, because I don't have to get up and chop vegetables, at 4 a.m. Because of course, if I was going to open a restaurant, it would have to be plant-based. And I don't have to be committed to something where I got to be there 6-7 days a week.
Yeah.
And I can make my own hours, and I don't have to pay for rent or overhead. I don't have to pay for HR. It was like absolutely the answer. And if you know anything about small businesses, most small businesses don't make it past 5 years.
Right. Yeah.
So you put a lot of time and heart and money into a business that may or may not succeed. And so being able to do this on the side while I was working my normal job, building my pipeline on the side and staying committed to my corporate job, I did that side by side for 2.5 years. So
what would you say surprised you the most about it? Like when you were getting started and you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm still doing my day job, but I'm going to start this because this is my end goal. What would you say surprised you the most in that beginning time?
Well, I think what surprised me is that it never felt like a job, and it never felt like work to me. So I was able to work my 60 hours a week and then do doTERRA on the side. And I never felt like doTERRA was exhausting me. I started to retract emotionally from my regular job, because I felt like it wasn't filling my needs.
Yeah.
It was depleting my soul, if anything. And I felt like I was doing everything I could to stay healthy, but that stress from that job was going to kill me. And I needed to walk away from that stress. So it surprised me how much I loved doTERRA and that I was willing to share and talk about it. And then it also surprised me how much, once somebody experiences them, how much they fall in love with them. I just had a conversation yesterday with a lady who I didn't even know this happened, but she said, oh, this is the first year ever that I didn't have seasonal allergies. And I had been taking Tri-Ease every single day for the past year, and I never had allergies. Like it came and went, and there was no allergies.
Yes.
She was like, I'm like, that is amazing. I had no idea you even had that experience. If I didn't have that conversation with her, I wouldn't have known. So.
That's another, I don't think about that often when I talk about my own experiences, but that's been a huge one for me too, because I've always had really bad allergies myself. And since I've been using doTERRA, I've noticed, well, we just went through another season. Harvest is wrapping up, and I haven't experienced that. In fact, I think the first time you're at my house, I was in the middle of a really epic allergy
I
issue.
remember.
And I haven't had any this season. I mean, I've had a few little sneeze attacks here and there, but nothing like I used to get. Like the minute the blossoms hit the trees, I knew I was in trouble. And the minute they started shaking the trees, and where we live, they're everywhere. Like I cannot escape the shaking of almonds and walnut trees. And so,
yeah, I feel like everybody needs a bottle of trees in their household. Period. Like, especially in the valley, the Central Valley. Absolutely.
100%. I'm so happy that you talked about like not feeling fulfilled at your big corp job, because that was going to be my next question. Like, what do you feel doTERRA did for you personally when you decided this is going to be my path? You touched base on how you just weren't fulfilled there and you were emotionally being pulled and drained because of that. So can you touch a little bit on what it did for you on a deep personal level?
Yeah. I mean, aside from being able to help, so many people, including my daughter, which is like super fulfilling, doTERRA brings with it a lot of added value besides essential oils. Number one is the community and the relationships and the friendships that I've made along the way. I mean, I wouldn't have known you if it wasn't for doTERRA. I mean, I could go down the list of all the people that I've met because of doTERRA in some way that I call my friends now. And so that's a big piece of it that's fulfilling. But also, we like to say that doTERRA is an essential oil company wrapped up in personal development, or a personal development company wrapped up in an essential oil bottle, whichever way you want to say it. And one of the things that I felt like in corporate world for as long as I was, that they weren't doing at the time, they might be doing it now. I retired in 2015, but back then there was not a lot of talk about personal development, about working on your mindset, working on goals, structuring, all that stuff. I mean, every bit of my goals in my corporate job was about a bottom line for the people up there.
For somebody else.
Yeah. And so when some people say, oh, well, doTERRA is a pyramid, I'm pretty sure I worked for the largest pyramid in the world. And trust me, the people at the top were the ones making the money. Here in doTERRA, anybody can make the money. You know what I'm saying? So, so a ton of personal development. I've grown as a person. I've grown in my relationships. I've grown in my business strategies. I could go on and on and on. Learned so much through this company. It's been such a blessing.
What would you say keeps you motivated? I know at times for someone like me, I'm newer and I've had my own experiences, but I don't have like the love of my daughter experience, so I know as someone who's newer getting started with doTERRA, I struggle at times staying motivated. What keeps you motivated? What within this business or within your passion just doesn't let you stop?
Well, I think there's a few things, but number one is wanting to help people. That's really a big passion of mine, because I find that I'm not happy and fulfilled if I'm not helping others, and in some way. So that's a big piece of it. Of course, there's a financial aspect for this, to this. For me, this is my sole income at the moment. I don't, have another, for me personally, I don't have another income, not working another, full-time job or anything like that. And so if I want to pay the bills, I have to work. And so that I look at it as it's not work to me. I love doing it. But I also know that if I get unmotivated or I stop, my team's going to stop. My my paycheck will slowly slow down. It'll take a long time, but it'll slowly slow down. And I don't want that. I've got big, huge goals because the more that I make, the more that I can help others. And I'm all about giving back. And I've got foundations I want to start. I could go on and on and on. And if I fill one goal, then I create another one.
I
You
love
know,
that.
one of my goals was to reach diamond. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to be diamond in doTERRA. I got to be diamond. And got there. And now I've got another goal, which is to keep going, beyond diamond and to help other people get to diamond. That's really kind of what I want more than anything else, is to help other people get to diamond, because there's a different level of feeling. There's a different level of group of people that you're surrounded with when you're diamond. There's a little bit different opportunities. There's some perks, and it's nice. And then you could help others. So I want to help more people get to diamond.
I love that. I love that. So we've talked about a lot today, everything from our loves and our struggles and, what keeps us going. If you were talking to someone who is maybe on the fence, borderline, like, I don't know, I like the oils, but I don't know if I want to upgrade my account. I don't know if I want to share. I don't know if I want to do this. What would you say to them?
Well, there's some questions I would ask, which is, do you have a financial need? Is there something that you want that you need a little bit of extra money to get to? Maybe it's a big trip that you want. We could help you do that. If it's not a financial need, because that does happen sometimes, then are you big on philanthropy? Because doTERRA has some amazing opportunities in terms of giving back all across the globe. And the biggest reason why people hold back is not because they don't want to do it, not because they don't want to build a doTERRA business. It's because of fear. It's fear, and fear of, I'm not a salesperson, fear of what will people think, fear of, failure. And the questions that or what I would say to that is, if you don't start or you don't try, you've already failed. So, the oils sell themselves. The company is solid as possibly can be, completely profitable company, no debt whatsoever, which is amazing. And the compensation plan is phenomenal. And I can explain how the compensation is phenomenal, and probably the best compensation plan out there. The fact that you can work with others and you work together as a team instead of by yourself is amazing. And you can grow and be part of an amazing community. So I'm not going to force anybody to do it. I'm all about, if this is something that you want, don't wait, because the sooner you get started, the better.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And something that you said to me that I think maybe, I don't remember where you got it. You told me, it's in my notes, but make the decision. Like that's the number one thing. Just decide you're ready. Mm-hmm. And once you make that decision, we're here for you. We're here to help. We're going to help you get to your goals. I love that.
Yeah, deciding is a huge part of everything. So whether it's you've got chronic health issues, you need to decide that you want to overcome it.
Yes.
And then we'll help you get there. And then if it's financial, you need to decide that that's what you want to do, is to make some money. Okay, great. But until you make that decision, if you just waver back and forth and I don't know, and maybe, and you lose focus and you've got, 14 different things going on in your mind, it's going to be hard to get there. But if you make that decision and stick with it and focus on it, the mind is an absolute direct correlation with what's going to happen in your future. So what your thoughts are right now will become your reality down the road.
I love that. Thank you so much for being with me tonight, Ellie, and chatting with me for my wrap up of our essential chats. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Happy to do it, Sherry. Anytime. I love doing this.
Thank you. All right. Well, that concludes it for tonight. So thank you so much. And you guys have a great night.